India recently. He is here. I can see also Lloyd Austin, the Defense Secretary of the United States. They're here. So, and these are Geeta, people who one after another have been to India recently. You know, this kind of build-up in the lead-up to this meeting. I wonder who's coming. That big black vehicle. Is that how the heads of state come? Yes. The Indian official delegation just coming in. I see Jaishankar, the Indian External Affairs Minister. So we'll try and zoom in. Dr. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister of India, he's just walked in. So this is essentially the Indian official delegation. Oh, wearing a resplendent saffron pagdi is Taranjeet Singh Sandhu. He's our man in Washington, D.C. That's what I'm saying. Saffron pagdi. He's just come in. And this is the official Indian delegation following suit in the back of senior officials from the Biden administration coming in. If we move across, I think let's just move a little bit that side, then maybe you'll have a better view. Just come with me. We'll see if we can try and show our viewers from here. I think you can see some of the officials there. They're lined up, and I think the two leaders, as is the case in Rashtrapati Bhavan, will be walking across and meeting all the officials. The ceremonial welcome, the bands of the American Armed Forces here. We've got some guns that are being prepped at the back as well, so there will be a 21 gun salute that will also be seen. Ambassador Taranjeet Singh Sandhu and his entire team here in Washington DC has been working quite hard for several months in the build-up to this big visit. So while that's the scene as we wait for the Indian Prime Minister and the American President to come, we just want to turn around and show you all these people who've been crowding around, and are waiting now for the Indian Prime Minister and the American President to come in. So it's quite packed really to the rafters, and mercifully it's also stopped raining. It's been raining for a very long time in the morning, but just at the right moment the clouds have now given way and it has stopped drizzling. So that really is the perfect setting for this. It would have been quite a shame if it had been raining quite hard and if this had been a washout as a result of that. But that mercifully doesn't seem to be the case really. So in any moment from now, the Indian Prime Minister will be over here. Kamala Harris does that lunch tomorrow, Geeta, and she, unlike what many would have anticipated when she took over, has been very restrained and very mature. She hasn't been making the kind of discordant noises that she did when she wasn't Vice President. So therefore she's been very on point and hasn't created any trouble, embarrassment for herself or for the Biden administration.
Well, that's true. The fact that Vice President Kamala Harris, as a politician, as a leader, as a democratic leader, spoke a very different language, but that language soon changed given the importance America attaches to the relationship. And you've seen that grow manifold is the reason why Vice President Kamala Harris not just very, very careful and cautious over the years, but also is going to host, which is part of the state visit, during a state visit, a State Department lunch is hosted by the Vice President and the Secretary of State. So as part of protocol, as part of procedure and rules when it comes to a state visit here in America, the lunch will be hosted by Vice President and Secretary of State. But what will be interesting, Rahul, would be the conversation that will take place between Kamala Harris and Prime Minister Modi when that lunch when the lunch takes place and she hosts it at the State Department. But given to understand that it's the Democratic Party we're talking about and it's Kamala Harris, so let's wait and see what happens when that lunch takes place.
But I think, people have individual views and then there is an institutional view. And when you're Vice President, I think the institutional view very clearly takes precedence. And that's what we've seen at least so far. So there will be that interesting moment and that press conference which happens sometime in the afternoon today. We've seen the entire American cabinet, the president's team lined up right next to him, Dr. Jaishankar and the Indian team lined up as well, the official delegation. And Jaishankar, I was reading the interviews in The Economist and elsewhere, seems to have acquired quite a mini cult. I mean, obviously nowhere close to the Prime Minister's following, but in think tank circles, government policy circles, for advocating a very different kind of Indian foreign policy from what we've seen from foreign ministers in the past. One which is unabashedly based in realism, unabashedly based in a sense of self-interest, which is India telling the world, and the Prime Minister said that in that statement that he put out, I present myself and my country as I am and as we are. And that's, very new India that's talking.
Well, that's also very important and a very significant messaging, where while the other prime ministers in this past had a family, there are reports in American media where Prime Minister Modi is being talked about as a man whose family is the country. This is one of the reports in one of the top newspapers of the United States of America. So the whole building of an image where the man over here, the Indian Premier, carries the country along and represents the country, belongs to the country, is something that is being reported and unheard of, because in the past we've seen reports and we would also see
Distinguished guests, the President of the United States and Dr. Biden. Distinguished guests,